Rangers.
Hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the panel this evening. It's Bridgeman and a legend that is Fox. Evening, gentlemen.
Howdy, boys.
Howdy.
Can I say a big good evening to the boys in the panel? A massive good evening to the boys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans all over the world. Another great day for the Rangers. Everybody, good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Where did the howdy come from?
I've been watching Westerns all afternoon, mate.
Nice one, bud. Nice one.
To my big mate is listening to Fife. To my big mate is listening to Fife, your fitness partner done a session, then had to go for a kip. That's all I'm saying. Your fitness partner done a session and he had to go for a kip. So
this is terrible, this regime, mate. It's like your first glimpse of getting put into a home. Move your neck to the left, move your neck to the right. Oh, I can just imagine myself.
You'd forget where the home was.
Very good.
It'd be like that film Cocoon, wasn't it, Bridge?
You remember? That's quite a good wee film, actually. It's one of these ones you hope that happens to me.
There's a guy in a swimming pool that looks like you.
Nah, but it'd be fine. Like in a swimming pool. Absolutely.
He'd be a top bomber, wouldn't he?
Absolutely.
Anyway, where did we start the day? There's a strong rumour that we're in talks with Stephen Davis, arguably the best player to leave the club in 2012. I think the guy stayed and was transferred, and what will be. He's had a great career since leaving us. One of the most consistent midfielders, if you like, in the sort of mid-Premier League teams. What's your views, Fox? Would there be somebody you'd be interested in, or do you think we've got to move on?
As a player, mate, he's a very good player. I think he's been in and out the Southampton team this season. Don't know if that's through injury or whether somebody else has took his place, mate. I don't keep that much up to date with the Premier League. But obviously a class player. Was when he was at Rangers, and I think he's got better now. Would I take him back? God, I don't know. That's a hard one for me, mate. I would have took Stephen Naismith back, so I'd need to say aye, I would have him back, mate.
Aye. Bridgeman, Davis the player?
Yeah, I think he was one of the nicest people that we've ever had in our squads, and one of the best players that Rangers have ever had. He was of a quality that we were getting used to, and a very, very high quality player. When I've seen him playing for Southampton, he's always been good. And there was a wee while he was the captain, and I agree with Fox. I haven't seen him starting the game. I've seen him coming on as subby for a couple of times, but I haven't seen him starting a game for quite a wee while. That might be down to nagging injuries and he's just fighting his way back in. But would I have him back at Ibrox the day before tomorrow? Absolutely. Ready-made captain for us. Obviously, we need to do some investigation.
The day before tomorrow.
The day before tomorrow. Have him in a heartbeat. Heartbeat.
Aye. Stephen Davis was a marvellous player for us, Fox. Very intelligent, very hard working.
I differentiate but I think Fox is sort of set on it. You think of what happened with Naismith. I don't associate Davis with that. I don't associate it with him at all. It's entirely different, you know. So
how's it different, mate?
It's to me, in my mind, it's different. I don't think he was involved the same as Whittaker and Naismith. I just don't think so.
Still bailed, mate. Although we get
he still went, of course.
From, yeah. But that was because it suited Southampton. It wasn't because it suited
I know that.
Us, mate. You know?
I know that, buddy. I know. It's
sometimes it's not what you do; it's how you do it, Fox.
Yeah, I think so. We're not sure what happened, truthfully and fully, but I don't think he was involved in any of that. I think he went along because that was the way it was for the sort of top players in the squad, you know, and they just decided they would do it. But he wasn't vociferous. He wasn't up front shouting and bawling this, that, or the next thing, doing TV interviews about it, which has really upset a lot of Rangers fans, myself included, at that point. So I think I would take him back. as I say, in a heartbeat.
All right, fair enough. I mean, he's obviously 6 years older as well now. What do you think? Early 30s, Stephen Davis?
I think so. I think he's just about 30, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would get a couple.
33.
You would get a couple of seasons out of him at a good level, because he still plays for Southampton, and I'm not saying Southampton are the best team in the world or anything like that, but he still performs when he comes on. He still performs and does well. So he's a very high quality player, playing at a high level in England. I would take him back anyway,
All right, okay.
But we seem to be going down the line, mate, of bringing in some tidy wee midfielders as it is, so that would be somebody else. But although he's better quality, and I would probably have him, mate, because he's a great leader, very creative wee player, I think, as well. Works very hard. Where would you fit him in that side, mate?
Is that a question for everyone now?
Aye.
He could play at the point in the diamond. He can play helping out in the midfield in a two. I mean, him and Mendes together, with a great combination. He's also played in the right midfield when you're having a tight jam, and a good player for us. But I'm going to say it's a maybe for me, and I'm going to tell you why it's a maybe. No against Stephen Davis. I thought he was a wonderful player, and I loved watching him play for us for the 4 years he was with us. And he was arguably one of the catalysts for our great run in 2008. I think he was in loan for Fulham at the time. My memory serves me right. I just think sometimes we look back too much, Fox, if that makes any sense. And I think we've got to look forward. Nothing against Stephen Davis. I think he left the club in completely different circumstances. Well, the same circumstances, but how he done it was completely different to some of our other players at the time. He's a classy individual, Stephen Davis, MBE. But I just think we've got to make our mind up. We've got to look forwards and start moving on for what happened in 2012,
Does he no get further back in position as he's got older, mate? Is he no kind of, when he did play, I think most of last year, he was more a deep lying playmaker, mate. He was in the defensive midfield role a lot when I seen him. Would you agree with that, Bridge, that he's went deeper in positioning?
I think he's doing what most footballers do. As they get older, they take that 4 or 5 yard back away, and they play better because the ball coming to them, they're happier with that than having to run up to it, But I think he did play a bit deeper. Look, the truth of the matter is that he might never want to come back up to Scotland. He's living in the south coast of England, millionaire's paradise down there, I don't know if he would even think about wanting to come back to Scotland, but you never know.
Have you been to Southampton?
Aye. Some lovely places down in Southampton, down in Hampshire. Oh my goodness gracious.
Aye. Southampton itself's a mixed city.
Oh, when he went to hopefully he doesn't stay there.
I doubt it very much.
There was a beautiful wee village just outside Southampton called Alton. Oh, absolutely superb. When we came back from South Africa, I brought a dog with me, a dog and cat, and they were in quarantine down in Alton. What a lovely part of the world. Lovely.
Where would you rather have Oxford right now and what you've seen? Goss or Steve Davis? Considering the ages, etc., wages that we would probably have to pay for them.
I think Steve Davis would be better at the snooker, but Stephen Davis would be a better player for me, I think, to be consistent with my main argument, I would need to say Goss, mate, because Stephen Davis is, as you say, 33. He's been a hard-working player. Worked really hard, great engine. And it was just doing luck. If we signed him, mate, the injuries kick in.
Yeah.
Now, you can say that about a 20-year-old as well, as we've seen with Jordan Rossard, but that would be just doing luck. We say we get a couple of years, give him a 3-year contract. We think we'll get a couple of years out of this class guy, and it doesn't work for us, And
as well,
mine's is nothing against Stephen Davis, because I thought he was a wonderful player and a marvellous bloke. Anytime you heard him, he handles himself really well, and I was so proud when he got his MBE because his connection with our club. But I just think you've got to look forward. Only my view, Fox. Only my view.
No, it's quite a good view, mate.
I would agree with him, particularly on his choice. I would rather have Boy Goss. I think that Boy Goss has got some great touches on him. Marvellous pass of the ball. Looks quite elegant on the pitch. Look, the truth of the matter is, it could be the same as that. He's on loan and he's doing everything to get himself a contract. And maybe he's one of these guys. As soon as he gets a contract, all that skill seems to disappear type thing. I don't think it'll happen like that, but it could. But I think he's a wonderful player. And if I was given a choice, that's who I would choose. I would choose Goss. But if you ask me if I wanted Stephen Davis on a free for a couple of seasons, absolutely.
What about yourself, Fox?
Goss hasn't played that many games. He looks a really good prospect, mate. But you know there's quality in Stephen Davis.
Aye, without doubt.
I don't know, mate. It'd be a hard one. Hard one for the support. I really like Goss. You know a day, mate. He's young, full of beans. Looks another educated midfielder. I would rather get Goss for the future, mate.
All right, we'll just have a wee opinion poll in the lobby. We're only comparing the two players, and we'll ask you for your views later. But if it's D for Stephen Davis and G for Sean Goss, whatever one you would have at this stage in their career, let's see what the guys and girls in the lobby think.
Personally, I think Steve Davis will win it hands down, but it'll be good to see.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start doing this with percentages now for Ibrox Loyal when we have a poll in the lobby. What do you think, Bridge?
What was the first part of that you said there about the poll in the lobby?
We'll have a poll in the lobby.
Ibrox Loyal?
I will take the percentages. You need to announce the result in percentages.
Actually, it's very close. I'm looking at it now, and by the look of it, Davis has won it. But wait
a minute.
Very
first four for Davis, the next five for 7.
I'm saying then there's another couple coming in. So it's quite close, you know.
Aye. Young man in the lobby says he wants both. That's a good shout.
That's a good shout, isn't it? Gosh has just won it by the look of it.
60-40. 60-40.
But we're going to have to get Ibrox Loyal how to work out the percentages. The show could need to go to 3 hours, Fox.
It's new in favour of Goss. Goss 80% to 20%.
I think it's probably about right. I think most of the Rangers fans would probably opt for him if it was a straight choice between the two.
Aye, we're having a hypothetical question, and I think it was Mount to put in the lobby would take both. I get that. I get what he's coming for with an asset to our squad, but I think if you're going to take both, we're going to have to ship players out. You know, but then interesting. Anyway, so we're starting to build up to the game against Hamilton. No something I really look forward to. I don't enjoy watching the games on the plastic pitch, Fox.
Okay. To me, I know it's a different surface and it gives advantage to the side that's got the plastic pitch, but I think if we play anything like we played against Ayr, mate, we should bypass Hamilton and take an easy result then. We've already got one of their best players, mate. We got him there in the window, so I'd be hoping for a comfortable win at Hamilton.
I hope so, mate. I hope so. Ridgeman?
Yeah, I can't disagree. I would hope. These are the kind of things you hope for. You know, I'm like probably the most cautious guy in the world. A 1-0 victory against Hamilton at any time or against anyone will do me fine. Gets us 3 points. But the truth is, what Fox is saying, we should be looking forward to playing against Hamilton and basically going on there and saying 3 points in the bag for us, no problem at all. That's what we should be doing.
Do you think we need to start looking for more than we'll take a 1-0 win against Hamilton, mate?
But that's just me. I'm a very cautious person when it comes to these things. I really enjoy it. If you ask me to say what Rangers are going to do it, I laugh. I get a wee smile to myself when people say 6 and 7 goals. But we got 6 goals at the weekend, and I'm saying 1-0 all day, mate, and we come out and won 6-1. So I'm absolutely over the moon if we score more than 1 goal. I want to see Rangers scoring as many goals as possible, but I'm very, very cautious when it comes to doing any of these things.
There's nothing wrong with being cautious, Bridge, but sometimes in life you just need to let yourself go,
I remember I let myself go a couple of times and I wasn't happy.
I think if we win, Fox, but you're right, we're looking to move on. We've improved the quality. We should be putting these teams to the sword.
Aye, without a doubt, mate. I think we should go with the same formation as well, mate. I was quite pleased with that formation. I was quite happy the way we played it. I think we created over 30 opportunities to score, mate. And if that's the
Are you sure that wasn't you on Tinder?
Oh, no. I've moved up. I'm on Grindr now. Anyway, carry on.
Nice one, Fox. Nice one.
Anyway, we're building up to the game, so if people want to join us, what's the number, Bridge?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Where else can they join us, Fox?
You can join us on Skype at rangersradio.online, or if you're in the lobby, there's a call button at the top left-hand side of the page. I think that also will bring you in. And we look forward to hearing from you.
Oh, very nice, Fox. Very nice introduction. Look, before we talk about Saturday's game, I think you'd only have the right to hear from your manager, Graham Murray, to hear any tidbits of what the team's going to be. So if you don't mind going to mute, gentlemen, we'll hear from Graham Murray.
Graham, we just heard from James Tavernier there. He's signed an extended contract. How good is that for the club to tie him down?
I think he's one of the outstanding performers in the league this year. I think that he's a solid and funny and gregarious member of the squad that makes the environment better. And I think there's more development to come from him. So I think it's really good for us to tie him down to a lower contract. And it's also a statement from James that he wanted to stay because he thinks he can get to the next level of his career at this football club. And for me as a manager, that makes me really happy.
Do you feel he's got the balance, he's getting the balance better between defence and attack now, and that's a sign of his development?
He's getting there. He is a work in progress at the moment, as many of the players in the squad are, but he's understanding more of his responsibilities without the ball. James historically has been about the ball and getting into the final third and raiding and making chances and scoring goals, but he understands that as part of a defensive unit, he has a responsibility sometimes to temper those attacking instincts for the good of the team. And actually, given the captain's armband at the weekend was one of the steps that we're going to utilise to actually aid his development and his maturation as a leader of men, because I fully believe that he could do that as well.
He was talking about he feels the club are good enough to win a trophy this season, and he wants to win more trophies with the club. Is that the sort of attitude that you need? You need to have winners or want to be winners in this dressing room?
We want hungry players. We want people who are desperate to do well for the football club. And if they're desperate to do well, they will drive our culture forward. And our culture must be about improving our status, must be improving our current state to be better than we currently are. James helps with that. The people in the changing room have a responsibility to help with that. And the more like-minded people we have in that changing room, driving each other on every day, the faster we will get to where we want to be.
You've managed to tie him down. There's some talk about Alfredo Morelos and his agent potentially coming over. Is that correct? And are there movements there?
There's conversations about contracts going on about numerous members of the squad. I won't identify anyone currently, but once those contracts are tied up, as has been my way consistently, we will come to you straight away and we will give you that information. I don't think it's helpful to the player to discuss them in public, where we would like to do our business in private and deal with those people firsthand. But people in the squad are currently being talked to about contracts, about terms, about the length of their contract. And we need people who want to be here, who are desperate to be here, and see this club as a viable option as the next stage in their career, pushing themselves forward and pushing the club forward. And the more people that we have like that, of that ilk, the better place we will be as a team and as a club. And we will definitely move what we're trying to do in the right direction.
The Alfredo situation has been one that's been going on, but in terms of contracts, both for Alfredo and everyone else, how much of the noise can be a distraction, and does it help when you get these things sorted?
It can be a distraction, but it's our job to make sure that the guys focus on what they can control. I've had talks with numerous players about different things, not just contracts, about being settled and about appreciating the club and understanding the scale of the club. But it's making sure that they understand the vision of what we're trying to be, what we're trying to build. And I think as much as monetary terms and length of contract, we have to sell ourselves as what we're going to be. The vision of what we're trying to achieve, the vision of what we're trying to build must be appealing. And I think that for James to commit himself for the length of contract that he has reveals that he believes in what we're trying to do. And we need to do that to more people because we want to get better, we want to improve, and we want to challenge. And James, plus other members of the squad, are a strong way for us to make that become closer to reality.
He said he enjoyed playing under you, but it was Mark Allen's vision that he sold him was one of the reasons. How much input do you have into that in terms of the interaction between you and Mark and tying a player down and then selling him that vision? Because there was a lot of talk of Danny Wilson, there's debate about whether he was going to stay, and then the
talk is on the football pitch is the talk of James's development. So as far as I'm concerned, as the football operations part, I'm looking at James as the person, as the player. What's his development? What does he need to do to get better, to take himself to that next level? Mark's looking at the long-term, the short, medium and long-term future of the football club and making sure that the players understand what we are now is not what we're going to be. We are merely at the start of the journey. And Mark selling that vision to James is as important as me selling what James is going to develop into. So we have to do that consecutively. We have to make sure we do that collaboratively. We have to make sure that all of our vision is tied together, and that James can see that. And the important thing for me is that James can see both parts coming together, his development and the club's development, and one will make the other better. So if we can make sure we blend those together in the right way, then we'll have sold James the right image of what we're trying to do, and James will have looked at it and thought, this is where I need to be, which for me as a manager of a football club is a strong statement from a player, because I've got no doubt he's got attributes that would attract other teams. But he said, no, do you know what, this is the right place for me right now because I can see what we're trying to do, both for me as a player, but also as a club.
As a manager, did you want to keep Danny Wilson? Would it have been better for you had he stayed this season?
I want players here who want to be here. Danny wanted to leave. He made clear his interest. He wanted to leave. So we would help that happen.
There's quotes that suggest that he said he wasn't going to be offered a contract and he wanted to stay.
Those discussions were ongoing. The player didn't want to stay. So if he doesn't want to stay, that's fine.
So it was his decision to leave, not necessarily the club's.
Just with James, and he's talking of the ambitious and the feeling and around the club. From where you were in interim, Charles, before, and in this period now, do you sense a difference in attitude in terms of a bit more ambition or a bit more drive to do well for the club this time round?
For him or from the rest of the group?
Both.
I think the drive has always been there. The intensity has always been there in the training sessions. The understanding of what we're trying to do is now more clear, I feel, and the actual belief that we can do it is key. And James must believe that we're getting closer. He must believe that we can do it, or he wouldn't have stayed. Because James is a hungry guy. He's desperate to do well. I believe he's put the pressure on me by saying he wants to win a trophy. That's great, but this is where you operate. You operate at Rangers. You should be under pressure to win a trophy every single year. Great, let's deal with it. Let's have people who actually embrace that challenge and want to do it, and actually rise and lift to that challenge. Because if we do that, then do you know what? We'll be doing something right. But the fact that they're now seeing it is a good thing.
In terms of the Scottish Cup one as well, a real momentum builder as well. 6 goals, team played great. That must give you real confidence going forward as well.
Yeah, but we can get better. The thrilling part for me isn't that we win games or we scored goals or we had flashes of good stuff. The thrilling part for me is that we can get better. We can get cleaner. We can get sharper. We can get a better understanding. We can be more ruthless. We can be more clinical. And I'm saying that as a manager who's quite pleased with the steps that we've made, but I'm hungry for us to get better and hungry for us to elevate our level on a daily basis so that our norms are outstanding. And if I believe we have the players in the squad who are capable of doing that. It's just challenging them every day to keep them fresh and keep them hungry, and for them to challenge one another to make sure that training is at the right level every day. And we're getting there. We're moving in the right direction. But I keep on saying, we are not where we will be by the end of the season. We will be better than we are now.
Is James the future captain of Rangers?
If you listen to James, he is. I gave him the armband for two reasons, really. I gave him the armband because I wanted to reward the fact that I think he's been outstanding this year. But I also gave him the armband to make him understand he has a broader role to play than just as an attacking, marauding fullback. He has a role, I believe, as they all do, as a leader of men and a responsibility to the team. And James takes that seriously. He looks like a joker and a guy who messes about. And sometimes he can, which is fine. But he understands as well now that it's time for him to possibly mature and develop. He's not a kid anymore. He can be a leader and a driver of what we're trying to be about. And the sooner that he realises that and he believes in that, the more effective he will be at it.
You mentioned yesterday the team needs to be more ruthless. Do you have ruthless in the squad, or do you think you need to go and recruit ruthless?
I think there's ruthless in the squad. There's ruthless if you saw it training today. There's clinical if you saw it training today. But we have to make sure that it's through everyone. So if there's one or two or three or four that have it, and two or three that don't have it, it's our job to develop it in the two or three that don't have it, to make sure that it runs throughout the group. We want underlying themes and values that are through every single person in the squad. And if they don't have it and can't develop it or are unwilling to develop it, then they won't play for the football club. But if they do have it and they are driving towards what we want them to be, then they will find endless time from myself and the staff to help them get to where we believe they need to be to push us forward.
And do you become ruthless if they slip up at Hamilton?
Of course. That's the job. And the job of the squad is to make sure that if people aren't at the right level, if people can't get there for any reason, it might just be one of those days, they have to be ready to go in and take their place. And that's part of the ruthlessness of football. If you get a chance to take a shirt, that there is no way that you actually give it up, because football is not renowned for giving you second, third and fourth chances. You might only get one. If you get the one, the ruthlessness of your nature will be that you perform at a level that is commensurate to you retaining that shirt. That's the job. That's the reality of the job, and I quite like that part of it.
Just get your thoughts on Hamilton ahead of the weekend. Yeah,
they're very, very organised. We've obviously talked to Greg Docherty about everything they're going to do, so we've got the game plan down pat. We know what Martin will set his team up to do. We know that they have a threat, and they came to Ibrox and turned us over 2-0. From us dominating the ball and dominating the game, they created clear chances to go and score against us. So it's up to us to make sure that we deny them those opportunities, because if we don't, we will be punished. So we need to make sure the guys understand their main threats so we can nullify them. But also, once again, I would like us to go and impose our style and our play upon them, regardless of anything that the pitch or the conditions or their team selection throws up. We have to be ruthless enough and clean enough and professional enough to go and make sure we get the right result.
Graham, you're a former Scotland international, a Kirin Cup winner. You've played under Alex McLeish. There's a lot of talk about him potentially going back into the role. Would you like to see that happen?
Well, the last person I was asked about getting back into the role, and I gave him a glowing reference, turned it down. So if it's Alex, as I said, he'll have my full backing and the backing of everyone at the football club. But until it's done, then there's so much speculation going on that you never actually know what's going to happen. And you guys are spending a lot of time talking about it. We're spending a lot of time talking about it. I don't actually believe it's serving anyone. I think that we should just bide our time until the person is put in place, and then come out behind them and make sure that they understand they have our full support. And if we do that, then I think it would actually make those guys who have to recruit, whoever it's going to be, I think it might make their job a little bit easier.
Graham, anybody in or out for this weekend?
Lee Wallace took full part in training today, and he's building his volume up slowly, but he's building towards where he needs to be. Bruno took full part again, so we have a virtual full squad, aside from those that have obviously had operations in the likes of Graham Dorrans and Ryan Jack. So those guys are currently moving on really nicely, but will be a significant period of time away. Russ McCrory will be assessed on Monday as to his state, and Jordan Rosser likewise will be assessed later on in the week.
All right, gentlemen.
Indeed.
Yeah. Some interesting stuff, but all the stuff we're interested in, it's the end and gets a fleeting part in a few bridges, doesn't it?
Aye. The thing, actually, I was quite intrigued by the Danny Wilson thing.
Aye.
We were just discussing that, or touching on it and we have a difference of opinions within ourselves, our own wee group. I'm of the opinion that the player wanted to leave. That's what I'm led to believe.
I don't see it like that. I don't see it like
I know.
that.
I'm saying that you get a difference of opinion. You hear different things, you know.
I don't think any of them are telling lies. I think Danny Wilson wasn't offered a new contract, and I think Graham Murphy suggests that because he said that negotiations were ongoing. Danny Wilson's in a precarious, he's a professional football player. He gets offered another job, and does he wait and see how it pans out at his present employer? He's moved on. He chose to sign the deal before maybe the contract or negotiations were concluded. Gone with what Graham Murphy says.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't think he was offered a contract, so I don't think Danny was telling any lies. What he was saying, he didn't say, Graham Murphy never said he was offered a contract. But I just find that Danny Wilson's no longer raised, in my opinion, and we move on. Fox?
That's how I'd answered it myself. I'd have said I don't talk about other clubs' players, and that'd have been the end of the question, mate.
Good one, actually. Never thought
Anyway,
about that.
we've been joined talking about other clubs' players. We've been joined by two of the young team, Mount Vernon and Ulster. How we doing, gentlemen?
Oh, yeah, dancer.
Hello, gentlemen. Good evening, big man.
How you doing, boys?
What
All
have you
right?
done with Ibrox Loyal?
What have I done with him?
What have you done with him?
His date must have went well, boys.
Aye.
I've heard from him since.
I heard,
Fox can't understand it. His dates last about 2 minutes.
I heard they took Valentine's Day bad and he's going to bender, but that's all I've heard.
Club Deck told me it was a Valentine's Day massacre, Fox.
What's this Fox I hear's back on Tinder?
No, he's off of Tinder.
I think he's moved on to something else now.
Was he?
He's a sore finger, all that swiping.
He's just...
Do you call that white finger or something? Is that?
He's just discovered that. He's just discovered Tinder. So, did you see the interview, boys?
Aye, it was good, mate. It was another interesting interview. Lots of good points and good discussion again tonight, guys.
Jordan Rossiter, I thought when I read the day, I thought he'd won his legs chopped off, but he's been assessed, so he's coming back for a long injury, so it's going to be a slow process. You think people are getting too carried away, Ulster?
Did he not? I think it came out tonight there that he has a bad ankle knock from that game in Spain. I don't know how serious it is yet, but another bad injury. Well, another injury of some sort, but I don't think it's linked to anything he's had before. But just very unfortunate for that young fella, isn't it? Every time he works so hard behind the scenes to get himself back into, in the position where he can start playing football and maybe get himself into the squad, he gets another wee knock. It must be so frustrating for him, as much as it's frustrating for us.
Aye, fair comment. Fox?
I've given up hope with Jordan Rossiter, mate. I don't think
that.
No, I know, but he just can't seem to put a couple of weeks together when they claim to have got him back into some sort of good condition. I think he's just injury prone, mate. I don't think you should say much else about it. We've had loads and loads of patience with him. We've given him every chance, and we'll probably continue to give him every chance to recover.
Bridgeman?
Well, Rossiter has been a bit injury prone since he arrived. As far as I'm concerned, I think Rossiter apparently got a bad ankle knock, so it's a nothing injury. But the people who think he's, shall we say, made of glass, are going to have a field day with us, because it's not even getting back on his feet and he's getting knocked back down again, which is a sin, to be honest. But what do you say? I mean, Fox is right. Most folk were desperate for him to do well, come back and show us what he's worth and do something for Rangers, but people just start to lose faith in it, It's just one after another for the boy, Sad, really sad.
Aye. Mount?
I think the boys had it in the head. It's it's the boys obviously get problems. I don't know whether if it is genuine medical, physical problems the boy's got. It's maybe a mental or psychological issues in terms of. I don't mean that the way that sounds, guys, but
if you get mental problems, you should come on here.
I know. Probably too much. It's probably talked too much sense for us lot, but no. The point I'm trying to make is I know Klopp with Daniel Sturridge down there was very, very much sort of, you sort of need to play through these injuries sometimes, or you need to force yourself through some of these injuries, and I think it'd be interesting to see what the actual, what is actually wrong with the boy. But see, to be honest with you guys, I feel sorry for the boy in essence, because I think the boy, every time you hear the boy, he seems a good attitude. He seems that he's trying his best. But the point of view from our football club, the question's got to be asked. Is this boy, do we have, perhaps a claim to insurance, the insurance we have with these players? Is this maybe the time we need to start looking at things like this? Because this boy's just clearly not getting, he's just not going to, I don't think he's going to get there. I think Fox is right. I think everybody's kind of lost a wee bit of faith in him. I'm sad to say that, I'm sad to say that for the boy, because he's a very young man.
Yep.
Very young man.
He always got time to bounce back, but we'll see how it goes, and obviously we might hear some news next week, but it looks as if he's maybe get hit on the ankle. He's still got to get tackled, so it might be some bruising or something that maybe just needs checked out. So he could be back full training middle next week, but we'll see. Anyway, we've been joined by Alan63. Evening, Alan.
Hello, guys.
How you doing, mate? All right?
Aye. I need 3 eyes.
Right, on you go, mate. Bridge.
I'm watching the lobby. I'm watching the filth, hoping they'll get beat. Got an eye on a couple of open pages as well. I think
you were going to say something else there.
I'm glad I went and called in the now, because that's right up my street. I said ages ago we should get shot here because he's injury prone.
Who's going to take him, but
I would just get shot here. There must be an agreement you come to. You don't obviously pay up all his wages, but you say, there's a wee softener, son. We've done our best.
And maybe some does, because he's got a 4-year contract. My understanding is $10,000 a week, mate.
Yeah, well, we're paying money for nothing.
Right. Well, we have been so far, you're right.
But it's costing us more money, isn't it? It's costing us more money to do these injuries.
Aye, but he'll be looking. He's sitting there, he's got about $1.5 million to get. He's going nowhere, mate.
We're making him a millionaire. He doesn't kick it off for us, and then we're coming on saying we feel sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for him. You kidding? Get shot here.
Difficult one, mate. It's not as easy. I don't think it's as easy as just to say, look, away you go, we'll give you 20 quid, and we owe you $1 million,
I put in the lobby, we're not the DHSS. We shouldn't be paying him when he's not playing.
It's quite frustrating, isn't it? It's quite frustrating with people,
Alan, you're talking to one of the leading shopshoers in this country, mate, and it's not going to work for you, that one. I don't like that argument, mate. Contract's a contract.
Contracts can be broken, and you can terminate. But the boy, for the next 2 and a bit years, mate, he's in a position of strength. He doesn't need to go anywhere. That's what a contract means, isn't it? He's got $1.5 million sitting there. What would you do? I'm going nowhere.
We must be donkeys when it comes to contracts, though. All these different players, you could name off loads and loads from here on out. Guys that could never play for us, guys who played a wee tiny bit then couldn't play. We've got to get something written into contracts that say, see if you get injured big time, you're dropping your wage with, 60% or something like that. I bet they wouldn't get injured as much.
Trying to get someone to sign a contract there, isn't it? If you put those clauses in.
Well, it's up there with taking guys on loan. It's the way to move. You want to see if the guys can hack it or if they're going to be duff.
We signed Jordan Rossiter, who everybody, vast majority support thought at the time was, let's see what we've got, good pedigree, we'll see where it takes us. And I'll agree with you, Alan, as far as value for money, it's up there with Prodan and that. And he's not kicked a ball away for us. We've all liked him. The cameos we've seen him, I think he get man of the match a couple of times. I remember it up at Dundee. And I think he get man of the match.
Michael O'Halloran got 2 man of the matches, one after the other, and everybody hates him.
Well, fair point. Fair point. But listen, I don't think Jordan Rossiter's gone anywhere, because I don't think...
Oh, no, his contract to be watertight,
Aye.
wasn't it?
Aye,
Yeah.
aye. Yeah. I get your point, I accept your point. Maybe if the club says, well, maybe give you half of it up front, you can get yourself another club. That could happen, but he's in a position of strength. Fox?
I wish we'd have just put him with credit card, mate, and then we could have handed him back as being faulty.
You liked what you saw, Fox.
Aye, it's just unfortunate with injuries, but it doesn't seem as though he's going to get any breaks for them, mate. As you rightly said, he's got a long-term contract, and we'll have to pay him anyway, so give him every chance it's possible. And we never know. He's still young. What's he, about 21, 22 or something?
Aye. You never know.
So there's always a possibility.
Aye. Mountain, you were coming in there?
I think, it's one of the ones where I think the reality's got to kick in a wee bit with this boy. I think if we were to get an offer in the summer, I think we've got to take it regardless.
Who's going to sign him?
Aye. I think somebody would take a punt on the boy. I think the boy has got a bit of pedigree. It's maybe a change of scenes, maybe a change of circumstances, but perhaps maybe give the boy a boost. I don't know. I just think the boys are right. I think we maybe need to look at, unless he can get him fit for the rest of the season, then we maybe need to look at maybe trying to do something just to try and save a bit of money,
Should you be worried about this season with Rossiter, Bridge, or you start to think, right, let's calm down and make sure he's 100% fit for next season?
Well, yeah, that's what was going through my mind. I was actually thinking, get him fit and be happy, but don't take part in any games and don't extend, because when you're trying to impress all the time and impress the manager so you can get a game, get a place in the team again. You don't want that. Actually, get him fit and then send him on holiday for a week or a fortnight or something like that. A wee rest, and then come back and get into it and see this season out. And then let him join in pre-season and see how he goes. If he can't make it past pre-season, well, what can you say? You can't say nothing, That's what I would do. Well, 2 years now.
We've not had, 3 games in a trot from him?
Well, I don't know if that's true because I can't remember, but you'll not be far wrong.
I can't mind them playing 3 games in a trot, mate. I think he had a couple of games Dundee at the start of last season. That's how long ago it was. It wasn't this season, it was last season. And then the next time I remind them appearing was against Dunfermline. I know he played in the progress game. He played in the progress game away. And then he played against Dunfermline in the League Cup, I think it was, but I can't remember anything after that.
I would imagine he must be. I don't know about you guys, but I would imagine he must be quite exhausted with it all. Because it's like 2 seasons. He's played maybe 10 games, 11, 12 games, where a lot of those games he came on as a subby, or he was on and he got taken off. It must be so tiring, because he's always doing is bringing himself back for injury by the sound of it, I honestly don't know what to think, because he's got all the top people who can look after him that way, I would just think he'd be knackered, completely knackered with it all, you've played football, you couldn't wait to go out on a Saturday and have a game of football and do the business. And okay, you got a knock and you get back with it. This boy seems to pick up major knocks, maybe overextending for tackles and things like that. Maybe he shouldn't even get into it, given his condition. I'm rambling a wee bit there, boys, but I think you know what I mean.
I'm thinking back to when we signed him, was there no stuff in the newspaper and on the net and that it was like valued roughly like a £7 million player or something when we got him up the road because of the cross, what do you call that? Cross country.
The cross border,
aye. That's why we got him so cheap, and it was like, wow, we've got this guy who's going to be a star, the next Stevie Gerrard. And come on.
That's in fact the words that were used, Alan, if my memory serves me right. They said, this young boy's going to be the next Stevie Gerrard. And, it's a bloody sin for him. That's tragic. My God,
Here we go. Here's the stats on Jordan Bernard Rossiter with your team. He's played 10 games 6 started, 4 as subs, 1 yellow card. He's had 1 league substitute appearance this season, 3 last season, and 1 sub last season. And the League Cup, he's played a couple of games each season, and 1 as sub this season, and 1 other. So 10 games in total, and 6 started and 4 as sub. That's what he's done.
It's a lot more game time than Herrera, isn't it?
Nice one, Alan. Nice one. But when did he actually sign again? He came in with Warburton, didn't he? He was with Warburton things.
I signed the summer 2016, mate.
There you go then. So 2 years this year, basically. It's 2 years this summer.
Aye.
Wow, you know.
It's not a lot of games. I feel the frustration. I don't know what the answer is, but I tell you now, his contract, he ain't going nowhere.
Well, when you think, you take the comparison between, I know they're playing different styles of football and different positions, but you take, like, say, Tavernier. I don't know if Tavernier's actually missed a game with injury. Do you know what I mean? And yet he's one of the most active players who's in there, in among it, and it's quite incredible, that young lad, Rossiter. Can he play any more than 10 games in 18 months? It's quite incredible.
Similar to Lewis McLeod, so you wonder if there is this, you play too many games too young when your body's still developing, mate, when you get the problems back, hamstrings, etc. They just don't cure, Bridge.
Yeah. I know there's some injuries, I've seen some guys having to give up because the psychological damage it was done. They just couldn't go over it. They probably, if they could just get their head right, they'd be able to play through a lot of the things, But as soon as they get touched, they were injured again, and it's a bloody sin for them, bloody sin. And particularly that young lad. I mean, that's his whole career gone, basically. He's got a 4-year contract with one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he can't play. Wow, amazing.
The lobby says Rosser and Gerrard both retired.
Well, okay, that's a good one, right enough, isn't it?
Do you mind me just bringing a wee something up? I just thought it'd be quite interesting just before the tune. It was obviously we found that we're playing Falkirk at home on Sunday, 4th of March.
In the Cup.
Aye. I thought there was a wee bit of talk today on social media and on some of the forums about the ticketing pricing. I think the ticket prices are £24 for adults, 17 for concessions, and 6 for juniors. Obviously £6 for the juniors and 17 for the concessions was pretty good. You know what I mean? But I thought £24 for an adult ticket was pretty expensive. I understand.
I'd double them. Get the real supporters there. Double the price of the tickets. Get more money to the club.
It was just the point. I was some of the boys.
I think both sides have got to agree the ticket pricing, mate. Yeah, I think you've got to sit down with the away team when it's a cup tie at home. So if you wanted to go, say 10 and a fiver to fill the place up, I think both sides have got to agree to that. That's my understanding, Mount.
Yeah. I mean, I just think perhaps maybe, even if we were to say like, £15 for adults and fill the place, you know what I mean? For some of the guys that are maybe as fortunate enough as some of the other boys to along to get some of the games. I just think it'd be a great opportunity to allow some of the less fortunate bears maybe to get along. It's just how I see it, mate. I think
the good thing, if you could, would be for people to take kids along, mate, that kind of get tickets for other games.
Yeah.
And getting the price of the ticket for the juniors, but you said £6. You might have an opportunity for a guy who can't go because he can't take his 2 kids. He can go to the game with 3 of them for £36, whereas a normal game he's maybe looking at 90. He can't afford that. So, no, the best. It could have maybe been a wee bit cheaper, but you remember both parties have got to agree. That's my understanding, Fox.
I think I've got to agree with Mount. It's not exactly a Category A game, is it?
No, but it's a quarter-final of the Scottish Cup at home.
Oh, I know, mate, but you want to attract a crowd, not scare it away. I would agree with Mount. I think that the prices should have been reduced, mate. Do you think we'll get a full house for that at the prices?
I think the people that will go anyway, because if you're going to take a couple of kids along, it's only going to cost you 12 quid.
14 quid.
No, mate.
Sorry, Alan.
No, I think Falkirk are pish, so I just think £14 is a decent price.
But it's no just what we think. The both parties have got to agree to. I believe that's my understanding of the cup prices.
I think Oaks, if Rangers come up with the price of £24, Falkirk aren't going to say no, are they?
No.
My understanding was, again, this is just social media rumours, but my understanding was Rangers' ideal was to try and, reduce the ticket price. I know certainly, but what I paid 20 quid at Somerset Park, for the last 16 sort of draw. I just think sometimes, guys, if it is true that these other teams are holding us to ransom, again, it just sums up Scottish football in a nutshell. We've got, as you said it there, Roxy, we've got the quarter-final of the Scottish Cup at home. We'll probably do well to get 25,000 there, mate, and that's because of the loyal 25,000 that will probably be on the continuous credit. There'll maybe be a good walk-up crowd with the kids, perhaps, but it's the point I'm trying to make is, it's surely common sense would prevail that we'd rather have a full house at Ibrox, and give the supporters of both teams, even Falkirk, a good a good reward for following their team. That's just how I see it, mate.
Do they change the allocation? Will they change the allocation for the away team?
I think they've got an entitlement to more.
I think they'll offer them that corner, and then if they fill it, they might extend it.
I know some areas at Brimley Road is been sectioned off already for them on the ticket information.
That's cool.
I
think the question on the number of fans or what the attendance is going to be, I think the chances of it being low or lower, shall I say, than normal, is because of the time when it's going on. It's a televised game, and they've stuck Rangers at the tail end of the round and put them in at 4:30 on a Sunday. It's an afterthought.
4:15 on a Sunday afternoon.
4:15. It's an afterthought.
It is a crap ticket. It is a crap.
Absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Why are Rangers not playing? The last round they were playing on a Sunday. Why are Rangers not playing in a Saturday now?
TV, innit? TV.
But Celtic, no, swap over with Celtic. Let Celtic go the Sunday at 4:15. You know what I mean?
That's also the thing as well. I think also has to be consideration for the ticket price as well. Actually, is that it's not a Saturday 3:00. It's 4:15 on a Sunday afternoon as well. And I just think these decisions that these people make are, it's, as the fans. Apparently, there's also some of the bears are saying as well. Apparently, the public transport for the subway.
Goes up at 6, doesn't it?
Just after 6:15, I think it goes up.
Yeah, but they'll keep it on. They'll keep it on. They'll keep it on. That's not a problem that way.
Oh, I don't know about that, Rich.
I know we've done this before, and I've been there, and I believe the subway was kept open until a reasonable time after the game. So I think they'll keep on for an hour, or two even. But I get angry. So we're playing the same tournament, and we've got 2 rounds. And Rangers, okay, we'll put Rangers down. They're going to Ayr United, so we'll put them on in the late shift on the Sunday. Okay, we'll play them in the Sunday night fight. Well, wait a minute, there's another round. Celtic and Rangers. Oh, we'll give Celtic a Saturday round again. No, that's not right. Sorry, that's just not right. I don't. By the way, maybe it's a draw. Maybe they've drawn it out of the hat, and that's the way it's worked. I don't know.
There'll be different TV companies that's got at the minute. One's BBC and one's Sky. Am I right when I say that?
No, BBC's not. I don't think BBC are involved in the Old Firm games at all. They were the last game.
Are they both on Sky?
I think so.
All right,
okay. Sure, for both Sky. There's one, the Aberdeen game. Is it Aberdeen that are playing at home?
They play Kilmarnock.
Aye, well, their game's not televised. All the other 3 are televised.
I accept both points about. I think as far as the attendance is concerned, I think live on telling the timing will have a bigger influence than possibly the.
Absolutely. the price.
The price of the ticket, because I think if you're going to go, if it's 15 quid, and you're taking your two kids along, 27 quid or 36 quid, there's no that much a difference. But if you're not going to get home to, depending when you're travelling for with two kids to maybe 9 o'clock at night, that's going to make you think differently.
Absolutely, and you know what we were saying there about the subway. There's a lot of folk don't know. There's a lot of folk think it's a Sunday afternoon, oh, the subway will be off, and they don't know if the subway's would be kept on, and maybe never ever find out. So they decide, I'll not bother going. We'll just watch it on the telly, and that's sad. I'm getting angry again. Getting angry again with that BBC stuff, you know.
So the same as any of the birds coming over on the ferries. No, I don't think they'll be interested in that one, because at a 3 o'clock kick-off, as soon as the whistle goes, you have to be straight down that road to get your boat. And if it's a late kick-off...
that's a fair comment.
So I would say you'll not see anybody from here coming over in the coaches, because they'll not make the boat home.
That is a fair comment. That's a fair comment.
I just can't believe what they're doing. I just cannot believe what they're doing. With the Rangers, I mean, they're just an afterthought. And it's all just, we get the fans in there, and it's a Sunday afternoon. No. Let's be fair here. You've got a big club over in the east end of Glasgow, and you've got a big club in the south side of Glasgow. Let's get it right. From a safety perspective and a fan perspective, if one gets a game, the next game for you, if you get it on a Saturday, the next time, if the both of you are in it, you'll get the Sunday. So whatever yes, I think. Oh, I'm raging at that. Absolutely raging. Sorry, boys.
TV, mate. TV, Fox. Quickly.
When you say TV, Ox, you've got to explain it to me. What do you mean because of TV?
I know.
They make the preference.
But
they're making the preference. They want to see Celtic on a Saturday. They want to broadcast Celtic on a Saturday.
That's what they'll say, mate. They'll say, they might think that, I don't know how we'll get the biggest viewers Saturday or Sunday, mate. I've really not studied it closely enough. I don't know what English games are on. Is it English Cup that weekend? Or have they got a Premier League game?
The last time Celtic played at Parkhead in a cup game, right? There was, you're the one that you'd said to me there was less than 20,000 at it.
Against Thistle, aye?
Against Partick Thistle. This time they're playing Morton.
Aye.
Which is a lower team. I just don't understand how they can't swap it around. I just don't get it. Maybe I'm bitter.
Never.
See, the thing is as well, guys, I think, for what I've read, I think it's either on Sky or BT as well. So
Sky's got the Scottish Cup, isn't
it? Yeah. So I think the point Bridgeman raises is absolutely right. You know, it's some of these kick-offs and some of these...
I think that'll have a bigger influence on the gate
than
the extra tenner for the ticket price now, if I'm being honest.
But
it's not an extra tenner, it's a reduction.
Perhaps it should be maybe looked at and said, you know, with the kick-off time and with the other circumstances involved with the game, and perhaps maybe a cheaper ticket price would have maybe attracted a better gate for both teams, you know, not just Rangers, both teams.
Do you want my honest view on it? See, Falkirk, I don't blame them for doing what they've done, because they've most likely looked at it the same way we've looked at the kick-off time and went, not going to be a big crowd at this.
Understandable, mate. Understandable.
You know what I mean? I don't blame them. But I'm more concerned about 4:15 on a Sunday. I know the English comps, I mean...
Just disgraceful.
The thing is, we've got boys... I mean, we've got boys that park next to our buses, Inverness True Blues and Granite City Loyal, Border buses, boys coming up for England, boys across the water. You know, it's incredibly difficult now for some of these boys to get to these games. You know, it's just my thoughts, mate. It's just one bear's thoughts.
TV, mate, soul by soul. No, us, the whole of football, mate. That's the problem, you know. Anyway, if you don't mind going on mute,
right.
Have a tune.
Sure, I was dreaming of old Ibrox, of her slopes and great grandstands, and I dreamed about the Rangers, the best team in the land. When my memory suggested of a vision bright and clear of the strange things that would happen if we had the Rangers here. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill and Brian Laudrup came from Sandy Road and Alistair Boyce came from East Belfast and old Belfast became then old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, sure no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roll, and all the boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. I dreamed about her Ulster men who wore the shirt of blue, Bertie Manderton, Sam English, Laurie Hamilton, McCandless too. I have dreamed of Whitey McDonald, who came from Lisburn town, and the greatest, Billy Simpson, who never let them down. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill and Brian Laudrup came from Sandy Road and Ali McCoyce came from East Belfast and then old Belfast became old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, then no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roam, all the boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. If we only had Glasgow Rangers over here.
If we only had Glasgow Rangers over here.
It's quite popular, that one.
No, lovely wee song, that. Absolutely.
How much cheaper it would be?
How much cheaper for you, yeah.
I don't know, mate. Time you put us all up might cost you more.
You need to build an extension.
They'd need to run, I don't know, a couple of hundred ferries.
Oh Jesus, man! They need to build a bridge. Just go and build.
Well, they're going to build a bridge anyway.
Bridge is in the making, boys.
Aye, that's how Big Al's not been on for a while. He's quoting for the bridge.
Yeah,
he's coming here to build the bridge.
Hands across the water, eh, brah?
Indeed, mate.
Aye, I'll be interested to see how that pans out.
What do you think, sir? Do you think it's nothing to do with the fans now when the games are played?
Not
and
at all, mate.
it's getting a situation, mate, where people are getting put off of football instead of encouraging them to it. I mean, when you look at the deal that the Premier League have just signed there again, mate, just under $500 million or something like that, and we're talking about 21 million into our game, mate. It's absolutely peanuts, aye. And I don't know how we get away from it.
The Pine supporters who go to the games started becoming irrelevant for particularly maybe England for their revenue streams. They're obviously more important for us. But the television, mate, you've sold your soul to the devil, mate. As far as when you're going to be playing, you can be playing Friday night, Saturday lunchtime, Sunday lunchtime, late Sunday afternoon, Monday nights. The 3 o'clock on a Saturday game, mate, it's changed.
Do you think we'll eventually get the Startling man out the mom 7:30 on a Saturday night or something, mate? You know?
Have we not had that before?
Oh, but that'll be the next one.
Have they've got one of them in England, haven't they? Is it a 5:15 kick-off every Saturday?
Right, yeah. Or run about that time anyway.
You imagine going to Ibrox on a 5:15 kick-off and everybody's been in the trousers since 12 on a Saturday.
Place will be rocking a little bit, yeah.
On you go, mate.
No, I think Rangers have been treated quite shabbily by the authorities on these things. There appears to be some bias, in my opinion, against the Rangers.
I was listening to a broadcaster, one of the proper broadcasters.
What
English.
do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
It was Talk Sport. I was listening to Talk Sport this morning, and I don't normally, but I was listening when we went to a meeting, and
He's just called you non-proper, Fox.
No.
He's quite right, mate.
No, I mean this is a platform for fans. It's a platform for propaganda and all other things, mate. I'm not a big fan of Talk Sport. Big fan of fan run things. I think it's better. But the point I'm trying to make was they were comparing the amount of money that certain other clubs get, certain other countries get. Obviously, I think England being the most at the moment. But what shocked me was I think somebody said it was just over 350 million, I believe. I think maybe just more than that Turkey gets for its television rights as well. I mean, Turkey, it's just...
So there's 80 million of them approximately off the top of my head.
Aye, well, I was just
shocked.
Just shocked, you know. It's just shocked at the figures when you consider it. When you put it that way, you understand why. But it's just crazy, man. The disparity between us and the rest of Europe. Never mind just England, you know.
I think there's a reason for our game, mate, must be at an all-time low. As far as marketing is concerned, how we're seen in the rest of the world for some of the decisions we've took. Ulster?
Yeah, but I think you're right. You know, for TV just rules the roost now, boys. Unfortunately, you know. But I think what annoys me, you know, if Rangers were getting these multi-millions, I think we could have, half accepted. But we get buttons. Let's face it, we get very little compared to the other clubs down in England, and we're put this in stupid times, but that's just the way it goes. It's just something we're going to have to learn to live with. Very frustrating as a supporter. Especially,
like Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Everton, if they've got home games that clash, and generally they don't, but if it's at the cup and the draw is the draw, if they've got great games that clash, then how do they decide which team's going to play when?
TV decide, mate.
How did they do it?
The TV they pick, but there's usually two broadcasters doing it, and the league broadcaster gets to pick the first tie.
Right, so they select the tie they want to do, and they're the ones who give it the
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as happening.
TV makes all the decisions, and the clubs, they sign up to that. That's why they get the money. They sign up to it, but this is what the frustrating point is, because you're trying to book games at the start of the season. Used to be years ago, we booked our games, picked whatever games we wanted. Now we have to literally look at the worst games on the fixture. So we look for your Hamiltons, your Ross Counties, because we think that they'll probably not be lucrative for TV at Ibrox. So that'll be a Saturday, 3 o'clock. That's why we picked those games, you know. I think it's another thing which doesn't help is they only give you about 6 weeks, maybe less notice sometimes, you know. I think it wouldn't be half as bad if they done the TV fixtures at the start of the season and let people from, you know, farther afield know what games that are going to change, because you book hotels, you book flights, and then the next minute the game changes on you. So
I've got no sympathy with the people trying to run buses now, Fox, with the way the times officers just said try to run a bus for anywhere within a certain distance must be a nightmare now, because you just don't know when the games are going to be.
And even worse for the away support, mate. They can't get enough tickets to come anywhere near a bus. You know?
Aye, and then they don't know when the game's going to be.
Aye, I know. It's Disney. I think it's all based on viewing figures and for the advertisers, mate. We've got a very small population, and it's affecting other countries as well with small populations that they don't get a good turnout the TV deal. And when you look, it's paying off for the big clubs in England, mate. If you look at that Champions League this year, England have got 5 still viable and playing in it, mate. It's beginning to look like the English teams will dominate in the future because they've got all the best players and all the best managers and all the most money, mate. And I don't know what's going to stop that absolute, what's the right word for it? Oh God, it's on my head now. But this ball rolling on for England, if you know what I mean. I think an Atlantic League or something's going to come where smaller countries can pull their viewing audiences and get a better deal at it. That's the way it's got to go. Our clubs in our country and other clubs like some of the Swedish, Norwegian and even the Dutch and the Belgians, mate, are not getting a fair crack at this TV, and they're losing all their best players for every year, and it's very hard to these teams to progress anymore, you know.
Mm-hmm. You know what I find interesting there? You were talking about the European Cup. You know, these 5 English teams that are still in the European Cup or the Champions League. It's a bit of a farce calling it the Champions League in it, because let's be honest, you know, there's only one champion in England, and it wasn't. I just find that a bit farce. I think the whole setup now, UEFA and the Champions League, it's just an absolute farce, you know. It's just how I see it.
And what is it? Again, it's been based on, it was obviously developed by Campbell Logue for the original Champions League. 8 teams get to the knockout stages and they play a league, so they get guaranteed some revenue. But now it's all done on TV audiences, and I mean, geez, this is the last 16, and it's done over. It used to be done over 2 weeks. Now they do 4 one night, 2 one night, 2 the next night, and then a week later they do another 2 and another 2. And it's all just done for TV, nothing else. And if you look, the teams that are all in it, England, Germany, Spain, France and Italy, it's all the big countries in Europe. We all the big TV audiences. Fox is spot on.
Do you not think it's time that the likes of Rangers and Celtic, much as we hate them, got their heads together and said, look, when it comes to the football and the money, you either give us a decent deal up here or you're not getting their games. We're the biggest draw.
If they got that power now, Alan, that power's gone for me, you know.
Well, I'd take away from them then, because they're not helping us.
You consider what Alan just said there, guys, in the sense that if, again, I don't really particularly want to talk about them, but if you look at our great institution, many fans do we see going into Rangers TV every Saturday or every Sunday, depending on the games. If we could also get our rights back to show the games, I mean, that would be fantastic. Also, I know the 3 o'clock thing, and I know all that, we can't do that, but if we could try and get the rights back to sort of, you know, if we could try and get our rights back to show the TV, I think the money we could generate just via the club would be unbelievable, you know.
Good shout, mate.
Yeah.
Well, I've said this before, man. Forgive me for a button in here. I do apologise. I've said this, and I've said it consistently. And it's a real bothers me greatly. I don't understand when if Ibrox is sold out and our Rangers away allocation is sold. Rangers TV should be allowed to show that TV stream. They should be allowed to show that live, not after the game's finished. Live. There's no impact. Tickets have sold. Full houses or whatever it be, all the allocations gone for the away games, and Ibrox is sold out. Why can't we show it? It doesn't make any sense why we can't show it. I just don't understand it. I just don't. Sorry, Mount Vernon. Sorry, Paul.
No, you're right, mate. You're absolutely spot on. I mean, I think if we could, you know, you look at the power of our support in terms of the Blue Pine. You know, it's a big thing we always talk about. If we were to put that into a format where Rangers TV was the premier broadcaster for all things Rangers, the games and everything, I think Scottish football, you know, would be on its backside couldn't care less, personally speaking, with that. But I think we would then obviously have the revenue stream, and that's just how I see it. I just think, but again, it's a bit of a cabal now with the whole TV deal and the whole setup with the SFA and all that. I just think I would just love it, the fact that we could take back our control, and all the money that we're spending on football is going to our club instead of going to these other teams, these other subscription services.
Here, pal. Here.
Anyway, we've been joined by a couple of callers. One's very articulate, intelligent, knowledgeable.
No, I'm ready, Ian.
And the other one's Ibrox Loyal. How we doing, gentlemen? Boswell, Ibrox Loyal.
Oh, Boswell, how you doing, Boswell?
Hey, boss.
Hi, Loyal, how are you?
Ibrox.
I'm doing well, lads. How's yourselves?
Hey, Ibrox, we seen the pictures, mate.
I'm sorry, they should have been took down hours ago, mate.
On the bounce back,
pictures.
I do apologise.
We seen the pictures. How we doing, boys?
Much better, thank you very much.
All right, good to hear from you, mate. You feeling better?
Oh, that was
Was it the flu bug?
No, it was the norovirus, they call it.
All right.
And yeah, sorry, but Barbara got it first, then I got it after her. She was awfully kind, passing it on.
There's no loss but a friend.
There's no loss but a friend gets. Our friend, our house last weekend, from Wednesday of last week on to, well, still today. It's been a bit of a war zone.
I've just had a wee PM there for the HR department. Could you all put on your mask, please?
Hey, can I just explain a couple of things?
That was a gimp joke.
Yeah, indeed. To Bridges' comment, here's why they cannot broadcast live and never have been able to broadcast live, is because they say that one match broadcasting live whilst there's other games going on within that country's football jurisdiction has an impact on the attendances on those other games. It's always been the case. And so that's why when the first English League game was shown live on BBC back in 1983, it was shown on a Friday night so that it wouldn't have any impact on Saturday's fixtures and Saturday's attendances. And we all know that, as to use one of Bridges' expressions, as sure as shooting, the Celtic attendance would be affected by Rangers playing Hamilton, would it not? Live in the telly. And so that's why they can't. They're not allowed to show those games live, even if there's a sellout at the venue concerned, because there may well not be a sellout at any other venue.
I would agree with that, boys, when it first started, but it's now saturated with football. That most people that support other teams do not. It doesn't change their idea of going to football at all now. I do believe it would have at first, but now, no, nowadays, mate, I don't think that would happen.
I agree implicitly, but of course, football is a very, very slow business to embrace change. And the other issue about it is that there is no way that they're going to break up the rights, because that then affects the league's ability to sell very lucrative businesses such as ourselves. I mean, let's just take our minds back 5 years to when we were demoted. How easy was it for the Scottish Football League the Premier League, the SPL, how easy was it for them to find sponsorship for the top league? I don't think they'd sponsorship for 2.5 seasons, if I'm not much mistaken. So without the principal attraction, which is us, I don't care about I'm not interested in anybody else. Without the principal attraction, which is always us, because we are Scottish football. I don't care who else becomes involved. If Real Madrid become involved, they'll be the same as them across the way. We are Scottish football. We conduct our business that way. And that's why they couldn't sell it for nothing without us. So there's the answer about if we split up the rights. Because this is why they went this long, convoluted road about hijacking the Scottish Football League so that then they could get access to Rangers games and have that as part of their package, because they couldn't sell it for nothing.
Can't disagree with that, boys, at all. Anybody else?
You might come back in there, Bridge. I mean, I get your point.
No,
I mean,
it's what he's saying is true. The authorities have set it. I've got it all set. I had it all set up. I don't know what it's like now, but that's the way it used to be. And I remember Jim Farry used to come out and say these things. And we don't want live TV at all because it affects all these other things that are going on. And I agree with my sympathy goes with what Fox was saying. Times have moved on, and purely from a Rangers, very selfish Rangers perspective, I don't want to be part of their TV contract. Rangers TV is allegedly a first class broadcasting system for the internet, and they do broadcast live. Admittedly, it's abroad, and I don't understand why if the tickets are sold at Ibrox, why can't the Rangers game be broadcast live to the Rangers fans through Rangers TV? Because it's a subscription channel. So that's all I'm meaning. It's not a big broadcaster.
But it's open to other people to subscribe. That's
yes, of course they can come in and subscribe. That's correct, as long as they're paying for it. You know, it's just me. I'm sorry. I'm right with you, but I'm right with you because I think that it's an outmoded attitude. But of course, Scottish football and its bigoted sectarian ways are completely outmoded and outdated, and it's about time.
Only since 1888, Boswell.
Oh yeah, well indeed. I mean, only Scottish football, and just as a wee aside here, is that the man with all the baggage, Alec McLeish, is appointed the new Scottish manager.
Yeah.
Instead of Malky Mackay, the man without the baggage is appointed.
No. Oh, you could have got it. Right.
Talking about men with baggage. What's on your mind, Ibrox?
No, it was just baggage. That's nice. Thanks very much for that. But no, it was just about what Mike was saying earlier about how the Turkish league gets a lot more money than we do for TV rights. It's because the Turkish league is 10 times better than the league will ever be. If we're being honest, mate, we are kind of like the.
There's 80 million. There's 80 million in them, and there's 5 million in us. 6 million.
It's nothing to do with that, mate, about the amount of people that's in both countries. It's the fact that your football's 10 times better than ours.
Ibrox, it's everything to do with that, mate. It's about population. That's why they get more. But I know what you mean. You're absolutely right. But I think it would be fair to say that the Turkish league, they have regular Champions League entrants. And that's because they're able to get through. But that's also because the league system starts at a different point. So they're well prepared by the time the Champions League and the Europa League qualifiers come round. You see, one of the things that I've always been going on about on here and in the Euro show as well is that Scottish football will never, ever, ever take Europe seriously until they can actually understand that when the competition starts for the majority of the teams that take part. And if we always think that the majority of the teams, like us last year, playing against a third-rate mob for Radio Luxembourg, and, you know, we were just completely ill-prepared. And with the result, we got papped out. Our season had, finished 3 or 4 weeks, and then we find ourselves playing in Europe. You know, as long as the league does things like that, we'll be non-competitive.
No, that's fine, mate, for you to say that, but we agree with me 100% that the Turkish league is 10 times better than your league.
Yeah, but that's not how they get the money.
World football, let's be honest with you.
But that's not how they get the money. They get the money because of the number of people who watch it, and then you can sell the advertising space, mate.
But you're not going to be able to sell the advertising space if your league's good enough for you to buy the sponsorship for that league.
It's the number of people that watch it will dictate how much money you get.
No, I understand that, mate. I'm agreeing with you by that point, but your league is also going to be good enough for people who want to watch.
I think the point Ibrox Loyal's trying to make is that there's a lot of different, obviously, there's Fenerbahce, there's Besiktas, there's Galatasaray, there's all very much bigger games that I've watched, you know, let's be honest.
Your 4 big games. I don't think I don't think there's huge games in. Yeah. There's not any bigger games in Turkish football as there is in Scottish football, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think I think the point we're trying to make is that I was just shocked by it, boys. That's what it was, because you go, well, it's not something, again, analysts like yourself will be seeing the Turkish leagues and know what's going on. Something like myself is just Rangers daft. You just get.
You're saying I watch Turkish football?
Well, you're Rangers Radio's Euro show host, aren't you, mate? To be fair, so.
Boswell, it's a man with very much experience of European football and everything else, right? Apart from let's be honest about it. Apart from Rangers and Celtic, right? Which other game would you like watching Scottish football? And I'd be shocked if you sees any. Would you go to the Turkish league?
Rangers reserve. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I would love to watch Hamilton versus Falkirk.
You're at it, you're just at it, right?
But you need to get out a wee bit more now, I think.
And Ibrox, turn your sound down.
I have, mate. I've turned it down halfway.
Well, stop shouting then.
I'm just talking normally.
Take a breath, son. Take a breath.
No, let's be honest about it, right? You can take so much liberty, right? But apart from Rangers and Celtic, there's not one person on this panel that says he would rather watch another game of Scottish football. Whereas in Turkish football, you'd rather watch Galatasaray v Fenerbahce. You could watch
against
whoever. There's 3 or 4 games you'd rather watch.
But it's the West Lothian question. That's what it is. I'll leave that.
What is that?
I'll leave that one with you. Ibrox Law, you can Google it. It's the West Lothian question, mate.
Can I come in and support Ibrox Law on some of that? Because
Did you like that, Buzz?
I personally speaking, I'm not interested in watching any other football team in reality in Scotland. I'll watch a lot of games done in England. I love watching the Premier League. I love watching the Match of the Day. I watch all that, even though it's the BBC. I love watching whenever I can. I got BT Sport on my computer, and I like watching some of the European games. I love watching Barcelona. They're a lovely team to watch, and of course Real Madrid. So you watch these. I'm not saying don't get the same fervour or passion as I do watching the Rangers, but I enjoy that's my enjoyment. So I agree to a certain extent. What would happen if all the Rangers fans were the same as me? If all the Rangers fans were the same as me, then what would happen to the viewing figures in Scotland? I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking to myself here when I say these things. But certainly, they wouldn't get my figures, that's for sure.
I've the interest in I couldn't even tell you who's top of the Turkish league. There you go, I've the interest.
I think the whole argument's kind of hollow. I think it doesn't matter if St Johnstone's playing Hamilton tomorrow and it's on live at 3 o'clock and Rangers are playing at the same time. Rangers will sell out their game. Celtic will sell out. Well, they don't. They get off a stadium and stuff. But you know what I mean? The ones that are going to go and watch will still go and watch. Same as doing in England. If Man United's playing Man City and Liverpool are playing whoever, the Liverpool fans are still going to turn up and watch Liverpool. They've not got a mindset to say, I'm not going to watch Liverpool today because Man City's playing Man U. It's an outdated thing now.
I agree. I'm with everybody.
Looked at, didn't it?
Well, the thing is, they're probably not going to look at it because there's no appetite to do things like that, and they'll just say, "Well, people can pick it up." You see, because
I don't know. Let's be. If we're having a really honest debate about it, football is watched live at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon all over the UK.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think the other point about this, though, is that the last thing the football authorities want is the fans getting involved in this. Because the football authorities have treated the fans like third-class citizens for absolute donkey's years, and football clubs too. If we're absolutely honest, football clubs have no... See, when David Murray was at Rangers, the last thing he wanted to have involvement with was your rank-and-file support like us. He did not want to be bothered with that. We were just the people that were paying for it. He wasn't interested in us at all. So if we think we're important, we're not. Because it would be fair to say that I think we might be the only support so far that would pay for the wages of our players. Because you look at Manchester City. Do you think that any club in the English Premiership, the fans pay a fraction of what they need because television's paying it all. There's been a new deal negotiated just the other day there. It's at £4.45 billion. So, there's no way support matter the way they used to do. You get loads and loads of crowds through, and let's say a wee club like Shrewsbury, for instance, they're getting all the teams playing quite well, and they can get loads of people in, and it matters. It doesn't matter now, because one game against Everton or one FA Cup tie against Chelsea on a telly and a Friday, that could pay their football expenses for a season. That's how much the fans don't matter down there anymore, and it's getting to be the same way up in Scotland.
Just in a wee bit of digging, guys, just to put in perspective, in terms of TV rights, what they're saying in terms of the per people who actually look at this, in Scotland, a professional game this is per household, it costs something like €83 basically. 83 cents, for Scottish football fan in any household through the country. That's basically what it costs to watch a match in terms of the revenue that they give and then the revenue that they receive. To put it in perspective, the Belgium League, in terms of cost per game, is €15.22 for an average Belgium league. That's staggering, considering.
Who's given that money, Mount? Or where is that money coming from and going to?
So, for instance, that's basically the revenue that's generated. So, for instance, in Scotland, I think the last deal at this point is.
This is television money that's generated, is it?
Yeah.
And it goes. Right, okay, I understand.
Yeah. So, approximately, I think it's £19 million per season the Scottish Professional Football League get for these games. That equates to around about, in terms of viewing figures, around about 83 cents in euros. So just over.
It's 90 pence, isn't it?
Yeah, but 90 pence, give or take the rate. So when you think about that, then you go to somewhere in the Belgium league, you're talking nearly 15. You're talking nearly £16 of a difference. So you're nearly talking 15. You're nearly talking £15 of a difference. In terms
one of the reasons we're getting battered economically out of that is our proximity and we're tying to England, mate. That's the problem we've got. They're all standalone.
Scottish football thinks it's part of England, yeah. Scottish football
bigger effect on us than any other country in Europe.
Yeah, they've got more than 10 times the population for viewing and things like that. So, and plus they can sell and get their stuff they're closer to their neighbours in France and Holland and Belgium. They'll watch the English football.
Yeah, but the thing about that though, Bridge, is that you look at the French football. French football has been thriving.
Yeah.
Even despite its proximity to England and the TV money. I mean, the money that French football get, they're one of the big five.
Yeah, but there's a massive population, 60, 70 million or something like that, So
yeah, which is not much bigger than Britain.
No, don't forget Britain. I was just talking about England. And when you talk about Scottish only 5 million, less than 5 million people. So it's quite small, isn't it? Really, in comparison.
What we really should do is just merge with England and be done with it.
Oh well, there you are.
Of course, that's what across the road want.
Yes, of course.
Then of course we wouldn't have to watch them in Europe.
So you're telling me there's a team who wanted nothing to do with the UK, nothing to do with England, and now they want to join up with them, boys? They don't do irony, do they?
No. Irony, what's that?
Oh dear.
Is that something that you've got shirts and vests and what I was?
I don't know, mate. Don't know. Never done it.
Oh, I thought so. That's stranger to ironing board.
Allergic to ironing board, never like.
But no, I agree with everybody. I think that it's only because the football authorities have refused to do nothing about it, and they've just all they're keen to do is just take money and let Big Ulster was saying there that this is the iniquity of this whole situation, is that people like Big Ulster and his mates all want to come over, watch their game, have a couple of jars, meal out with their mates, meet up with some pals, and watch a decent game of football. But of course, they can't do that now because
you were nearly right, apart from the meal out. I don't think you do that.
No, but McDonald's counts. McDonald's is now considered a restaurant, apparently. But so they can't do things like that now because, or they're having to pick games that are lesser. And fans, I mean, we've drawn Falkirk in the Scottish Cup. The game's immediately been picked for Sky on the Sunday, and it's Sunday at 4:15 or something like that.
It's graceful.
Exactly, but there's nobody giving any thought. Remember, we used to have these games 6:05 on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And who did they think about then? Absolutely nobody except.
It wasn't until the trouble started at 6 o'clock.
Exactly, because people were having a bevy all day. Yeah, exactly.
Aye.
But we all know who that was.
But you know what? One of the points I was making, Boswell. Maybe you would like to sort of ponder this one. I can't understand. And even after the explanation the boys gave me, we've got the Scottish Cup games are on, sort of two sets of ties. The last tie, it was Rangers were at home, Rangers were away, and Celtic were at home. So Celtic got the home tie on the Saturday, right?
Because it's BBC.
Right, they got it for the BBC, and then Rangers had the Sunday. So I would have thought next time round, if there's home ties, then that Rangers must get the. They'll get the Saturday game and something else. I'm just still carrying it that.
But Sky will have the first pick of the ties, mate. And then they'll put it, and they'll win. That's where we want the Rangers.
Yes, I know that. I'm saying that's why they want it. I understand that. But what does the SFA want? Nothing.
Oh, they want
nothing
Celtic. They want Celtic. At what point are you and Rangers supporters not going to start getting this? The SFA want absolutely nothing to do with Rangers unless it's about Rangers bringing in money. The BBC want even less to do with them unless they can get a huge chunk of the revenue. So the BBC will always have first dibs on CFC because that's their works team. And the SFA are exactly the same because they have an infestation there and all. So it's not going to change. And Sky, as Ox has said, Sky, because they put in more money to Scottish football, they say, we want that game. Because they know that the Rangers fans will pay to watch it. And into the bargain, it'll be a sellout at Ibrox. So what would you rather have? Celtic
I don't think it will be, mate.
Well, yes, because of the time. That's the only thing. Because of that 4:15. But
it's been a long, long time since any cup tie was a sellout in the major stadiums, mate.
Yeah,
which is a sad indictment of our competition. Yeah,
but you look at where we were last week at Ayr United. That's the sort of tie that's going to be a sellout.
I know, but Ibrox. Ibrox. Yeah.
But even then, this 4:15 nonsense.
Shocking! I think that. Mount, I'll come back to you just quickly. I think that'll have a bigger influence than the attendance and the price of the tickets, mate.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't disagree with
Mount.
that. He's a spot on. It's the time. It's the time of day, and it is what it is, mate. Do you know what I mean? I just we all wish football fans were more considered in the administration of this great game, the beautiful game.
It's even worse in England, mate. It's even worse in England.
Yeah, absolutely. If we think we are disregarded here, you want to come down here and see what happens down here. I've got a pal that's a Man City fan, and he's a home and away Man City fan, and the conditions, the nonsenses. Even I've got a pal that's a Birmingham City fan, and the abuses that they've got to tolerate. When they went to Villa the other Sunday there. It was they were kettled, and it was a hellish situation, and for no reason at all, because it doesn't happen to people coming out at rock concerts and all the rest of it. So why it should happen to football fans is beyond me, but it happens because that we're a soft target.
You've got to bear in mind the fans are mental.
Are you telling me that?
Good point, well made, Al. Good point, well made.
I watched a programme one night. It was some female. She's maybe well known down south. I don't know because I honestly don't remember her name. I can still see her face in my mind's eye. And it was all to do with how the railway people deal with the different fans. And lo and behold, it was Birmingham and Aston Villa.
Oh yeah.
I think it was the Birmingham fans. I think when they came off the train, they were all joyful and raucous and all the rest of it, but they were behaved, no? after the game, I can't remember what the score was, but they kind of smashed everything they could.
Millwall, same sort of thing.
Yeah,
you know, they were up at Rochdale the other week there and caused a lot of trouble up there in a train and what have you. And I know what people mean. It's your average punter travelling a train. I mean, I had the misfortune of travelling with Millwall fans a few years ago, coming back for uni, and you just think, is that how these people conduct themselves? Is it any wonder? But I'm sure as a Rangers supporter, I conducted myself in a very similar way on a train coming back.
No, you, boss. No, you, boss.
Such is life, isn't it?
Well, yeah. But
what always got me was standing in that subway queue, and you're maybe, I don't know, sometimes 4 or 5 abreast, and it was a big queue. And these stupid posts and the horses, and their horses were so close to you, they were backing into you and bumping you into the rain, and they wonder why folk were shouting at them. There's still a way to kind of police things, no?
Well, we live in a police state, Alan. That's what happens, mate. Unfortunately. That's, but no, I sympathise with away fans and how away fans are treated. I mean, last week the trains weren't right going from Glasgow through to Ayr. I mean, it was a bus service. I mean, that's hellish, isn't it?
Aye, the train stopped short, didn't it?
Yeah, so there was a situation.
Was it the Liverpool and Arsenal game? Was it Christmas Eve?
Yeah, and Liverpool fans or Arsenal fans have either got to get back for one place or the other. And I mean, was it a couple of seasons ago? My Man City mate was telling me they were playing at Arsenal, and the Emirates, they wanted £65 for an away ticket. And you know, you just think, come on, that's utterly outrageous to ask people for that just for 90 minutes. But I suppose. I have another friend who went to see Lionel Richie and it cost her £75. Hell mender, that's what I say.
These concerts are very popular, aren't they?
Well, at least at one of them you get dancing on the ceiling.
Aye.
Boom, boom.
It's true, but it's true. They're very popular. Very popular.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, with some people, Bridge, but not with me. But
that Hydro in Glasgow, every concert it's got, it sells it. So they say anyway. It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, Lewis is away the other night, but I don't know who he's away to see.
They had the wrestling in that about 2 months ago. They had wrestling and it was sold out. 12,000 people.
But that was at Exhibition Centre Station.
Aye.
The wrestling there. Was that the boxing they had there?
Bridge went to show them real wrestling, didn't you, Bridge?
Oh, I love it. I like all wrestling. I do. I like that. It's good luck.
Kent Walton on a Saturday afternoon, Bridge, yeah?
Kent Walton. I like the old WWE. Maybe some of the guys in the lobby like WWE as well. I like watching. There's a lot of rubbish, but I like it. Good laugh.
You're mad, you are.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I don't know how we're ever going to get back to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I think that ship sailed, Big Ulster. I don't know what we're going to do.
It's so sad. It's so sad for the likes of the Bears that go to the games. I would gladly pull out of the TV deals if I could and just get everything back for Rangers back to the 3 o'clock in the afternoon and go on with it. Let's go on with it.
Big Ulster said all that without opening his mouth. Some Irish accent.
I don't know how he done it. Big Ulster done that, but
sorry, Ulster, I stole your thunder there, pal. Sorry.
He does impersonation of Fox, Rudy Bear. Didn't you, Bridge?
I fall into it.
On you go, Big Ulster. On you go, Big Ulster. He's no master Ibrox loyal yet.
It's annoying. It's annoying as hell, but it's just something we're going to have to put up with, unfortunately. It's just the way it is. So we've had to just change our attack as a club to what games we go to. It's frustrating, but it's just something we have to live with, unfortunately. No point getting too tied up about it because it's not going to change.
At the moment, I can't see it changing. I think the genie's out the bottle, Fox, and it's not going back in.
Aye, it's out of order, mate. I feel sorry for fans now. In fact, it's starting to work the other way around now. Did they not threaten to fine clubs abroad because there was no crowd for the TV cameras to pan onto? I think that was in Italy. Did they not say something about... I'm sure I read that.
That's been happening for years in Italy, though, Fox. There's no crowd there.
But as the money's went up, mate, there's no been a reduction for the fans that actually make the effort to go to football, mate. In fact, as we were talking about earlier, £24 to go and see Falkirk is way over the top for us. And football, as Ox says, has been a curse here, mate. And if we did pull out the TV deal, would that force our national broadcaster to then televise games and spend some money in Scotland instead of just bumping us off for 100 and whatever it is for a licence, and we'd get nothing out of it, you know?
I'm very much of the view that that is going to come to an end very, very soon, because I don't think that kind of surcharge on watching television is tenable in these times when there's so many other options for people to choose from.
The thing is, now they threaten you, boys, if you use the internet, you're due to, because you've got access via the internet to watch it. I'm sure I got a letter in for the TV licence plates, mate, and that was where it stated that if you used the internet as well, you were due to pay your licence.
I can't see how that would be legally enforceable, because you already pay an internet service provider for that service, and then it's a question of what's free to air on the internet. So I can't see how, and of course this is the government, and I can't see how the government would make that choice, because this is state-sponsored broadcasting effectively.
Mm-hmm. No, I'll tell you, it was definitely stated on my reminder for my licence, mate, that if you use the internet, you were due to pay it, whether you watched provisional television or no, mate.
Yeah, because the BBC.
I wouldn't say that.
No,
if I didn't get it.
The BBC, I think.
I would like to see them have that.
That's because if you go onto the BBC website, you can watch live TV on the BBC.
Well, they need to do stop it then, bud.
Correct. I think I believe that they're going to start. I saw this on the BBC News not long ago. They're going to start asking people to sign up when you go into one of their sites.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Yeah. But the other thing, what they do and ask you now, before you use the iPlayer, is that do you have a license?
Have you got a license? Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
But the other thing that was quite interesting that came out of that, of course, there was the figures had come out about how broadcasters are patronised by the general public, and Radio Scotland are down 100,000 listeners.
Oh, what some figures, isn't it? That's some figures.
And why that is, don't you? But you
no, absolutely. It depends how naive we all are, isn't it?
Well.
How does Cowan and Cosgrove still got an audience then?
I don't know that they do, because you see now, if you think about this, Sports Sound has not changed most of its presenters and contributors for the last 30 years. Chick Young's been on there for that length of time. Richard Dolly Gordon's been on there for that length of time. You've got John Barnes has been on there for that length of time. I worked with these people, Barnes and Gordon and all the rest of it, back in 1990. So they've been on that broadcaster for the last 28 to 29 years, and nothing's changed, and it's only become much more vitriolic. And then they wonder why they're down 100,000 listeners. Well, there's why, because it's a broadcaster that needs shaken up, it needs changed, and it needs to have a new approach to football, because it's still dealing the way it dealt in the 1980s. And of course, if it wants to change, but of course that's completely contingent on it having a willingness to change, and I'm very much of the point of view that it has no willingness to change, because it's just left to be this wee private kind of fiefdom where it can just do and say whatever the hell it likes, and it's separate from the BBC in Manchester. So I'll be interested to see what the BBC in Manchester do about this, because the loss of 100,000 listeners is quite a substantial hit for a broadcaster. And of course that will be, in my opinion, primarily through football football resources, if you like.
Yeah.
So losing 100,000 people from that is substantial.
I wonder if they've got a cut off for I'm talking people above. If they've got a cut off, if you get below 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, whatever it is, then we have to look at it and do something. Because if, based on what you're saying there, if there's any chance that they come along and say, right, we're going to stop the licence support, licence fee supporting you, and you're going to have to find your own way of raising cash through advertising or whatever.
Your revenue will come for your numbers, mate.
No, all I'm saying is, how are people going to get the BBC? Is it just going to be like ITV, and no matter what happens, we just don't pay their licence fee? That's fine for me. That's fine. I'll not pay. I don't want to pay the licence.
You imagine telling your missus they're taking these tenders off the telly, Bridge?
No, I understand that. All I'm meaning is that will they just convert
go and
to
try
a
it.
non?
Fracture clinic.
Go and try it and let us all hear it.
But do you think they'll just move from a licence-based monies to a non-licensed monies?
I think it will stay as it is, Bridge. It will immediate future, mate.
I would agree. I don't think it's going to change, but I think that we're getting to the point where people are actually calling the validity of having to pay this money into question. And I think it's there for another 3 years before it's reviewed again.
But of course, people earning £18 million as a public service.
Yeah.
They find it quite bizarre because obviously, let's not kid yourself. Presenters and that, apart from on this channel, are the really talented people. But they're getting £18 million for reading an auto cue.
Carrie Gracie couldn't get a job on here.
No.
One of the boys just published, or just put in the lobby there that the Daily Record's now down to something like 120,000. Just dropped 22,000, so down to 120,000. So I don't know where the floor is in that. I believe they've been taken over. Was it Mirror Group that took over the Express, or was it vice versa? But they're bringing things together. But 120k for the Daily Record circulation is very poor. So they must have some backup in this online system.
But see, the thing about that, though, Bridge, is that this is about. See, if you give people interesting things to read, they'll read them.
Yeah,
but if you give people drivel and rubbish and unsubstantiated tittle-tattle and gossip, people know the difference. The general public, they might read The Sun, but they're not completely without intelligence that they don't know the difference between good rubbish and absolute mince.
Anyway, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening. We'll have the shout-outs, and we'll go to Big Ulster first.
Yes, as said, everybody's been listening, and good to have you back again, boss. I spoke to you in age, mate. Hope that your wife's keeping well too, mate.
Yep.
Gentlemen, Big Ulster, gentlemen. Mount Vernon.
Can I give you a shout out to all the guys in the panel tonight? Not good listen. Can you give a big shout out to all the Rangers family? Incredibly proud every day to be up here with other people.
Alan 63.
I'm quite happy hearing the figures because it sounds like the boycott is biting in it. It's getting the
combination everything, mate. Combination everything.
I used to always give a shout out to Murray, as you know, but I'm not going this tonight. No. Any of you Celtic folk listening, get it up, yeah.
Ibrox Loyal.
Another great show, and kind of echo Mount's points about great to hear Boswell back again. Really looking forward to watching Rangers playing again this Sunday. Come on, the Rangers.
Not going to give a wee bird a shout out, no?
Nah.
Boswell, you might let us people know what's happening on Sunday.
Leave him alone, that's terrible. Right, on Sunday, so you can watch the Rangers batter Hamilton and take revenge for what happened the last time they visited our magnificent emporium of football. And then come at 8 o'clock and join Mal, Mucker and myself, EK, for the return, eventually, a week hence, of the Sunday Euro show. Back with all the usual favourites. talking about the Champions League from the last couple of nights, and the Europa League and the English League and German and all the rest of it. So usual stuff. So if people want to come along, they know where we are. 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock on Sunday evening. We'll look forward to having you all in the lobby and having a listen.
Yep, it's going to be good.
Cheers, mate.
So.
Fox.
I'll give you a shout out to Ibrox's bird. I'm not a miserable girl.
Bridgeman.
Oh, marvellous. Great to hear all the boys and all. I agree with all the shout outs.
Even the one about Ibrox bird.
Even Ibrox bird. And you know, we're waiting. We'll maybe get an update from Ibrox Loyal as to how the meal went, the Valentine's meal went. You might give us a wee update on that.
He's going to tell me everything later on in confidence.
Oh, there you go.
And then you'll say
you'll just send a text to the whole lot.
I rated Beth, it's a 2 quarter.
You won the guy in Greg's, weren't you?
Let Bridge shout out.
And a big welcome back for Boswell. I'm glad to hear you're getting better, pal. I hope you keep going and keep going. But to other Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one of us, keep it going for the Rangers, please. Just keep it going.
Here, great to have Boz back. Glad that him and his missus are feeling better. That's a horrible illness, that is. Thanks to Alan, 63, Ibrox Loyal, Bridgman and Fox, Mount Vernon, and of course, the legend that is Big Ulster. This is Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 9 and 11. Take it away, Fox.